Namaskar, dear friends. In this video, we will be discussing about the structural design and actual behavior of RCC floor slab. Structural engineers have generally been confused about the requirements of smaller span for main steel or for deflection calculation, which span is to be considered. So in this small video, we have tried to explain this. Okay, so I start with the slabs design. This is the formula you see where you see in the code where we design the slab, wherein you are given with the formula like you have to calculate the bending moment in x direction with coefficient alpha x into w is the UDL over the slab, and Lx is the span in x direction. My your alpha y into UDL into again alpha this span in the x direction. So now first of all, before I proceed with this formula and the table which will be in the next slide, how we calculate the bending moments for the slab, I would like to discuss about how you think about the slab bending properties. How the slab would bend, because basically, as I explained earlier, the shape of bending will decide where this strain will be more, and ultimately strain will require the stress, and based on that only we will provide the reinforcement. So to understand that, suppose there is a slab of 3 meter by 3 meter, or you can say that it is a square slab. Now I take the center point and take a one horizontal line and one vertical line, right, spanning in each direction right from the center of the slab. Understand? Now I take one fiber of the center line in the horizontal direction, and suppose there is a UDL on this slab, a uniformly distributed load of say 3 kilonewton per square meter is the live load and 4 kilonewton per square meter is the dead load. So total 7 kilonewton per square meter is the load over the slab. That is my design load as such, without any modification factor, without any load factor. Now I have a 3 meter slab. I have a 3 meter slab, but I am taking one fiber or one small beam like action and want to understand what would be the shape of deflection. Now to visualize that better, I would suggest you to just imagine that there is a one wire anchored on both sides. There is a pole and the wire is anchored there. There is no load, then the wire will be straight. Agreed? And now you start putting some clothes over it. हम जब उस पे कपड़े डालने शुरू करते हैं तो क्या होता है, जो तार है from left side to right side, if it is straight line, would that straight line remain a straight line? No, there will be some deflection, there will be some sagging. हम कपड़े डालना शुरू करते हैं तो जैसे जैसे हम लोड बढ़ता जाता है, as your load will increase, your sagging will increase, right? Now we increase this spacing. Earlier suppose it was 3 meter, now I have increased it to 4 meter. Then what would happen? Would our sagging be same or our sagging will increase? Yes, anybody?
It will increase.
It will increase. Very good. So as your it will increase, because as your span will increase, your sagging will increase. We all can visualize. Any doubt here? Do we have any doubt here? As we are increasing our span, our sagging will increase. We are able to visualize. कोई कपड़े तो हमने सबने देखा है तार पे डले हुए, राइट? कोई तार होता है जो ज्यादा झुक जाता है. If the stiffness of the wire is less, it will sag more. If the stiffness is good, then it may sag less. But if the same material of the wire, considering, and we are increasing the span, then definitely at the center point, our maximum sagging will increase. We all can visualize this. So if I am taking a square slab, in both direction, my wire length is 3 meters, right? It means my sagging for both the directions would be same, because it is the same material and my span is also same. So if you consider that the wire is not very say giving any rigidity at the supports, you can consider it like a simply supported condition, then the sagging from both the direction you can calculate if you know the stiffness. It is easy to understand this much, I think. Now I am increasing one side by 1 meter. My now slab size is 3 meter by 4 meter, right? And now still I am considering the central spans from both in both the directions. What would happen? My 3 meter span wire will have lesser deflection, and my 4 meter span direction would have higher deflection, right? Easy to understand. But now our center point is single point. Can we have two different deflections for a single point? Yes, anybody?
No, sir.
No, because the point is single, the point is one, then deflection will also be one. We cannot have two different deflections for a single point. So here is the catch. Now we have understood that this load distribution would be a kind of uniform, and when we say UDL means uniformly distributed load, and generally we design our slab moments for the UDL because your dead weight will be UDL, same material, same thickness, it will be throughout, and then loading may also vary a bit, but we would like to have same capacity over the entire slab area. So as per the standard IS 875, if we want to have 250 kg per square meter capacity or 300 kg per square meter capacity, so 300 kg per square meter capacity, I convert the unit to kilonewton, so it becomes 3 kilonewton. So I'm intentionally speaking in kgs also and in kilonewton also, because we should be able to visualize the weight also. Generally we visualize the weight in kilograms, but our questions or problems we see in kilonewton, so sometimes we are not able to correlate what is the load. So I'm intentionally taking 300 kg weight means 3 kilonewton. So we have live load, we have dead load, and now we have one span 3 meters, other span 4 meter, and now we have understood that the center point can have only one final deflection. Now which would be the governing deflection? If we have something which is going, say, for example, if I say for 3 meter span my slab want to deflect 6 millimeter, and for 4 meter span my slab want to deflect 8 millimeters, and now I want to decide what would be the deflection. So how would we decide? Try to visualize, because it is very easy to understand, but in general in our colleges we do not understand it like this. We simply start calculating the bending moments and start solving the problems, and we do not know why and how these coefficients come and why this is the bending moment we are calculating. So I am trying to explain in just 2 minutes. Now we understand that for 3 meter span my wire will deflect 6 millimeter. For 4 meter span my wire will deflect 8 millimeter. Now if I forget my mathematics, I have actually put the condition, then what would happen? Because 6 millimeter is anyway the slab has to go down, so with that load the slab will start deflecting as per the load, and first it will deflect 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter. Now it has reached 6 millimeters, and 6 millimeter is the deflection for 3 meter span of the slab. So would it go further? Up to 6 millimeter deflection, the load was free to be taken by the wires in X direction also, in Y direction also. But now 6 millimeter deflection has been achieved. What would happen? the first thing would happen is that this 3 meter span thing, the wire which is having 3 meter span, has reached its full deflection, and it will resist further going down, and it will start taking more load, right? When the span is same, if it is 3 meter by 3 meter in both the direction, it is going by 6 millimeter, then no difference in both direction. The bending moment will be shared equally, no issue. But now when one span is larger, the larger span says that I am free to go 8 millimeter, I have no problem. But the 3 meter span says that I can deflect only 6 millimeters. Then what would happen, as the slab would reach a deflection of 6 millimeter, it will not want to go further down, so it will start taking more load, and the share of this smaller span would start increasing, because the larger span wants to go more down. That would resist only after 8 millimeter deflection, but 3 meter span is resisting after 6 millimeter deflection, so the more load will be taken by the smaller span. And that is how, as your ratio of Lx and Ly by Lx ratio, Lx we are considering as smaller span, and Ly we are considering as larger span. So when your larger span is say 10% higher, then the moment shared by a smaller direction would be slightly less, slightly more than the larger span. But as your ratio would go on increasing, suppose your ratio reaches 1.5, one is 3 meter, one is 4.5 meter, then there will be significant difference between the moment taken by the directions. Smaller span would take quite a good high value of moment, and larger span would be free to move more, so it will be taking very less bending moment. And as this ratio keep on increasing, as we reach near 2, Ly by Lx, almost when we reach 2, then what would happen? The difference will be so high that we can say that the larger span is not taking any load or any moment. Whole of the moment is being taken by the smaller direction, because smaller direction deflection is governing. It do not want to go down, and larger span wants to deflect too much, and smaller direction will not allow that deflection. So if there is no deflection, more deflection means more strain. More strain means more stress. More stress means you need reinforcement steel, or the bending moment is there. So when there is lesser deflection, it means lesser bending moment. So when it is not reaching its final value, so it means it is not reaching its final ultimate load capacity requirements. But the smaller direction already reached that deflection value, so it will require higher capacities, higher deflection, resistance to deflection. It will have full capacity of the strength requirement. So our main governing direction will be the smaller direction. So many of you, I do not know were confused or not, but as in my life I have asked so many engineers that which direction reinforcement governs in slab detailing. Many of the engineers are not sure. Many of the engineers say that larger span will have larger bending moment, so larger reinforcement will be required for the larger span. So they are wrong in that. So if many engineers, if some of the engineers know that the smaller dimensions, smaller span would be dominating, or smaller span would be the main span, then they were not knowing why smaller span. So I have tried to explain both the things, why smaller span is the main span, and you can see in the formula that when we calculate bending moment, we are using only the smaller span, Lx square, and we are changing the coefficient of bending moment. In smaller direction, your coefficient is alpha x. In larger direction, your coefficient is alpha y, but your length is smaller only. So for all the calculations, when we say that span to depth ratio in my bending requirements, when I was telling you deemed approved condition, your span to depth ratio should be, say, for slab 35 or 40. It means that it is for the smaller span to depth ratio. When we say that calculating span to effective depth ratio, the span doesn't mean larger span means smaller span. You can see here that it is written here also, the slab spanning in two direction, the shorter of the two spans should be used for calculating the span of effective depth ratios. So many people were not able to visualize, or many engineers were not able to understand why this statement is written. But I hope now all of you understand why smaller span is the governing span, and based on the smaller span only we have to calculate the effective depth requirement using these span to depth ratios. Okay, so friends, I hope now with this your concepts about the slab systems are clear. Please like this video and subscribe our YouTube channel so that you get the benefits whenever we upload our new videos. You get immediate response. Thank you.